So let's graph using factored form. Now, what does factored form do? We wrote it in the last section, but in case you didn't review that, factored form highlights the zeros. Now, what is the zeros? The zeros are also the x-intercepts. You know, it's the value of x that makes our y value 0. So looking at this, they're giving us factored form. And I can tell you right away that I know the zeros are 6 and -2. So I'm going to just call those x1, we'll call 6, and x2 will be -2. Just calling those for now, you'll see why I'm doing that. So -2 is one of our x-intercepts, and then the other one is 6. Now notice something here. They're giving us 2 points, and this is where most people get confused. One point is not the vertex, the other point is the vertex. So make sure you take this vertex point and move it to where the vertex should be. Now, if you remember a previous lesson, we learned that there is symmetry between the two x-intercepts. So the vertex lies right in the middle of the two x-intercepts. So we got to figure out what is the x value of the vertex. So what I'm going to do in order to find this is I'm going to go ahead and for the x value of the vertex, I'm going to take x1 and x2, add them up and divide by 2. I'm going to find the average. It's going to give me that middle value. So 6 plus -2 over 2 is 4 over 2, which is 2. So for our vertex, according to the vertex, 2 is the x value. Now, how do we come up with the y value? Well, y is 1/8 times x minus 6 plus, or times x plus 2. So I'm just going to plug that 2, this 2, into the x's. So the y for the vertex be 1/8 times 2 minus 6 times 2 plus 2. 1/8 times -4 times 4. And don't worry, even though there's a fraction, you'll see it works out. So 1/8 times -16. What's 16 divided by 8 would be 2. Positive times a negative is negative, so this is just -2. So our vertex point is going to be placed at when x is 2, so I'll go right there, and y is -2. So as long as you place this point here and the vertex point there, your graph should be correct. All right, let's look at something a little bit more complicated. And it's really not, it's not more complicated. It might be like actually a little bit easier. It's the negative. It should be flipped upside down. It's going to be a sad face because it's negative. But what I did want to point out also, so the first x value is 2. What would this x value be? And it's actually sometimes what people get the most stuck on, but it's the easiest x value. Because what would I plug in this x to make everything 0? Well, 0. 0 times everything else is 0. So our two x-intercepts, we'll call x1 to be 2 and x2 to be 0. So our two x-intercepts are 2 and 0. So I'm going to find the x value of the vertex by adding those up and dividing by 2 to get 1. So for the vertex, so far we have the x coordinate. So to come up with the y coordinate, we just plug that 1 in. Oops, I made a little error. I was thinking that's not going to work. It's x minus 2 there. And I'll get -6 times -1 times 1 is +6. So 1, 6 will be the vertex, and then the other point would be placed either at 2 or 0. Now notice, I know this point's already at 0, but that's the vertex of this parabola, so you got to move that point over here. And then take this point and put it either there or there, and that should work out. The other two questions should be pretty similar.